In order to use geometry, or coordinate geometry, to prove that this figure is a trapezoid, what I want to do is prove that I have one pair of parallel sides. I can see in my diagram that if two sides are going to be parallel, it would have to be those two sides. So let's assume that those two sides are the bases and prove that they are parallel, or find out if they're not parallel. To prove if two things are parallel, what I want to do is I want to find the slopes of them, and I want to make sure the slopes are the same. So we can either use our slope formula, which is y1 minus y2 divided by x1 minus x2, or we can just count rise over run, which might be easier to do in these diagrams, or at least quicker. So let's find the slope of segment RS. I can see that I have a rise of 1, and I can count across and I have a rise of 2. So segment RS has a slope of 1/2. And if I do the same thing for segment OT, I'm going to connect those two endpoints. I can see that I rise 2 and I run 4. And so that segment has a slope of 2/4, which, if I simplify, becomes 1/2. So segment OT also has a slope of 1/2. Because those slopes are the same, I know for sure that this is going to be a trapezoid. I do have one set of parallel sides. Let's go one step further, though, and figure out if this is an isosceles trapezoid. Well, to know that something is isosceles trapezoid, once we know it's a trapezoid, I would need to know, are the legs congruent to each other? Meaning, are they the same length? So let's find the length of the two legs, the non-parallel sides, and see if they are the same thing. So segment OR is a vertical segment, meaning I don't even need to use the distance formula. I can just count the spaces. I can count 1, 2, 3 spaces up. So segment OR has a length of 3. Remember, we're doing length this time, not slope. Next up, I need to find the length of segment ST. So I need to find the distance from point S to point T. At this point, you can either use the distance formula or you can use the DMS program. I'm going to go ahead and kind of work through the distance formula real quick. If you want to pause the video and do the distance formula for yourself, or try that on the DMS program, do that. Otherwise, just kind of let the video run through and I will show you the distance. We're looking to see if it's the same thing or not. So what I discovered using the distance formula was that segment ST is about 2.83 units long. Segment OR is exactly 3 units long, meaning they are not the same thing. So no, this is definitely not an isosceles trapezoid. It is just a trapezoid because the two legs were not the same length.